continues to evolve alongside the vehicle infrastructure, improves technology, advances, user understanding increases, creating an environment where vehicles like the iX3 can function more effectively. This relationship between vehicle and environment is important because neither exists in isolation. Each influences the other, each contributes to the overall experience. The iX3 represents a step within this larger movement, not the final stage, but a meaningful progression that demonstrates what is possible when design and technology align with changing priorities. Drivers who spend more time with the vehicle begin to appreciate these qualities not immediately, but gradually as familiarity grows, as understanding deepens, as the experience becomes part of everyday life. This gradual appreciation reflects the nature of the vehicle itself, not designed to impress instantly but to satisfy consistently over time. The story continues without a clear endpoint, because the evolution of mobility does not stop. It continues to develop, introducing new ideas, new solutions, new possibilities. The iX3 exists within this ongoing process, adapting to it, contributing to it, reflecting the direction in which the industry is moving. And as that direction continues to unfold, the experience of driving continues to change, becoming quieter, more efficient, more connected to the broader environment. Yet at its core, it remains the same: movement, control, connection. These elements persist even as everything else evolves, shaping the experience in ways that remain familiar, while introducing something new. The iX3 carries this balance forward, maintaining a link to what driving has always been while guiding it toward what it is becoming. And that journey continues without pause, without final conclusion, always moving, always adapting, always becoming something more. The experience continues to unfold with deeper familiarity, revealing layers that are not immediately visible during initial encounters, because true understanding comes not from brief exposure, but from sustained interaction over time. The iX3 begins to feel less like a machine, and more like an extension of intention, responding not only to direct input, but also to the rhythm of how it is driven, how it is used, how it fits into daily patterns. This integration between driver and vehicle develops gradually, creating a sense of connection that is subtle yet meaningful, not based on excitement alone, but on reliability, on consistency, on trust. Trust becomes one of the most important aspects, because without it, even the most advanced system feels uncertain, but with it, every action feels supported, every response feels predictable. Every journey feels controlled. Billy is no longer part of this narrative. Instead, the focus shifts fully to the relationship between human and machine, between expectation and experience, between design and reality. The iX3 demonstrates that innovation does not always need to be dramatic. Sometimes, it is found in refinement, in the removal of unnecessary complexity, in the creation of systems that work quietly in the background. This quiet efficiency defines much of the driving experience, where energy flows smoothly, where transitions feel seamless, where the absence of interruption becomes a feature rather than a limitation. Daily use highlights these qualities in ways that are not always noticeable at first, but become essential over time. Small conveniences, small efficiencies, small improvements that collectively enhance the overall experience. Starting the vehicle becomes effortless, movement begins without hesitation. Controls respond without delay. Everything feels immediate yet controlled. This immediacy reduces friction in the driving process, allowing attention to remain focused on the road rather than on the mechanics of operation over longer periods. The advantages of this approach become more evident, reducing fatigue, reducing stress, creating an environment where driving feels less demanding, even in challenging conditions. The iX3 supports this by maintaining a steady balance between responsiveness and comfort, ensuring that the driver remains engaged without becoming overwhelmed. Engagement itself takes on a new meaning, because it is no longer tied solely to sound or intensity. It is connected to precision, to smoothness, to the ability to control movement with minimal effort. This shift in engagement reflects a broader change in how performance is perceived, moving away from raw force toward refined capability. The vehicle continues to demonstrate this capability across different scenarios, adapting to variations in terrain, traffic, and driver behavior without losing its core characteristics. This adaptability becomes one of its defining strengths, allowing it to remain relevant in a wide range of situations, rather than excelling in only a narrow set. The design philosophy behind the iX3 supports this versatility, ensuring that each component contributes to a balanced whole. Rather than competing for attention, this balance is evident in how the vehicle accelerates, how it handles, how it maintains stability, how it delivers comfort, all working together to create a cohesive experience. The interior environment continues to reinforce this cohesion with materials that feel durable, yet refined, with layouts that prioritize usability without sacrificing aesthetics. Technology remains present but unobtrusive, providing support where needed without dominating the interaction. This approach allows the driver to remain central to the experience, rather than becoming secondary to the system. The iX3 does not attempt to take control away, it enhances the ability of the driver to make decisions to guide the vehicle to shape the journey. This philosophy aligns with the idea that driving is not just about reaching a destination, it is about the process of getting there, about the experience of movement. About the connection between input and response. As time passes, this connection becomes more natural, more intuitive, requiring less conscious effort, allowing the driver to operate with greater ease and confidence. The narrative continues to expand through this ongoing interaction, showing that the relationship between driver and vehicle is not fixed. It evolves, it adapts, it grows stronger with familiarity. The broader landscape of mobility continues to change alongside this relationship, with advancements in infrastructure technology and user behavior, all contributing to a new definition of what driving can be. The iX3 fits within this landscape as a representation of current progress, not as a final solution, but as a step forward in an ongoing journey. This journey is defined by continuous improvement, by the search for better efficiency, better comfort, better integration between human and machine. The vehicle embodies these goals through its design, through its performance, through the experience it provides over time. Drivers who engage with it deeply begin to understand that its value is not in a single feature or specification, but in the way everything works together to create a consistent, reliable, and refined experience. This consistency becomes more important than momentary excitement because it shapes daily interaction, it influences long-term satisfaction, it defines how the vehicle fits into life beyond initial impressions. The story continues without a final resolution, because the evolution of vehicles, of technology, of expectations, does not stop. It moves forward, constantly introducing new ideas, new possibilities, new directions. The iX3 remains part of this movement, adapting as needed, maintaining its relevance through its ability to balance innovation with practicality. And as this movement continues, the experience of driving continues to transform, becoming quieter, more efficient, more connected to the environment, while still preserving the essential elements that define it: movement, control, connection. These remain unchanged even as everything else evolves. And through that continuity, the iX3 continues its role, not as an endpoint, but as part of an ongoing process, a reflection of where things are, and an indication of where they are going, always moving forward, always adapting, always becoming something more. The journey with the vehicle continues to evolve as familiarity turns into instinct, where actions that once required thought become automatic, where responses feel natural, where the connection between driver and machine becomes almost seamless. This seamless interaction is not created instantly. It develops over time through repeated experience, through moments of adjustment, through the gradual alignment of expectation and reality. The iX3 supports this alignment by maintaining consistency in its behavior, ensuring that each input produces a response that feels predictable and controlled. This predictability builds confidence, allowing the driver to focus less on managing the vehicle and more on experiencing the journey itself. As confidence grows, the awareness of the environment increases, because attention is no longer divided between understanding the vehicle and observing the surroundings. This shift enhances safety, enhances comfort, enhances the overall quality of each drive. Because clarity replaces uncertainty, the vehicle continues to demonstrate its capability not through sudden displays, but through steady performance across different conditions, across different situations, across different styles of driving. This steady performance becomes more valuable over time, because it creates a sense of reliability that supports long-term use. Reliability, not always immediately noticeable, but it becomes essential as the vehicle becomes part of daily life, part of routine, part of movement from one place to another. The iX3 integrates into this routine, smoothly adapting to different needs, whether it is short trips through crowded streets or longer journeys that require endurance and efficiency. Each scenario reveals a different aspect of its design, showing how versatility is built into its core, rather than added as an afterthought. This versatility allows the vehicle to remain relevant in a wide range of situations, making it suitable for drivers with different expectations, different habits, different priorities. The interior environment continues to support this adaptability, providing a space that feels comfortable and functional without unnecessary complexity. Controls remain intuitive, displays remain clear, interactions remain straightforward, allowing the driver to engage with the vehicle without distraction. This simplicity does not limit capability. It enhances usability, making advanced features accessible without requiring constant attention. The balance between simplicity and capability reflects a broader philosophy where design serves function, where technology supports experience rather than dominating it. The iX3 follows this philosophy, consistently ensuring that every element contributes to the overall harmony of the vehicle. Time passes, the driver begins to notice how small details contribute to the experience, how the seating position reduces fatigue, how the layout supports ease of use, how the quiet operation allows for a more relaxed environment. These details may seem minor individually, but together they create a significant impact, shaping how the vehicle feels over extended periods. This long-term perspective becomes increasingly important because the true value of a vehicle is not measured in moments, but in sustained experience. The iX3 delivers this sustained experience through its consistent performance, its thoughtful design, and its ability to adapt to changing conditions. The broader context of mobility continues to shift with advancements in technology and infrastructure, creating new opportunities and new challenges. Electric vehicles become more integrated into everyday life, charging becomes more accessible, range becomes less of a limitation. User understanding continues to grow. The iX3 exists within this evolving environment, contributing to its development, while also benefiting from it. This relationship between vehicle and environment strengthens over time, creating a system where both support each other. Drivers become more familiar with electric mobility infrastructure, expands to meet demand, technology improves to enhance efficiency and performance. The iX3 reflects these changes, adapting to them, maintaining its relevance. As expectations continue to evolve, the narrative continues to expand through this interaction, showing that the story of the vehicle is not isolated. It is part of a larger movement, part of a transition that affects how people think about transportation. This transition is not immediate. It happens gradually through adoption, through experience, through understanding. The iX3 plays a role in this process by providing an example of what modern electric driving can be, offering a balance between innovation and practicality. Drivers who engage with it over time begin to appreciate this balance, recognizing that it is not about extremes, but about harmony between performance and efficiency, between technology and usability, between innovation and familiarity. This harmony defines the character of the vehicle, shaping how it feels, how it performs, how it fits into everyday life. The journey continues without a fixed endpoint, because the evolution of mobility does not stop. It progresses continuously, introducing new developments, new improvements, new possibilities. The iX3 remains part of this progression, adapting as needed, maintaining its position within a landscape that is constantly changing. And as this landscape evolves, the experience of driving continues to transform, becoming more refined, more efficient, more connected to the broader environment. Yet the core remains unchanged: movement, control, connection. These elements continue to define the experience regardless of how technology advances. And through this continuity, the iX3 maintains its identity, serving as both a product of its time and a step toward what comes next. The story moves forward without interruption, without conclusion, always evolving, always adapting, always becoming something more. The progression continues with a deeper sense of familiarity, where the vehicle no longer feels like something separate, but something integrated into the rhythm of everyday life, something that adapts to routine without losing its distinct character. Each drive adds another layer of understanding, revealing how different elements come together to form a cohesive experience that does not rely on extremes, but on balance and consistency. The iX3 continues to demonstrate that refinement is not about removing character, but about shaping it into something more controlled, more precise, more aligned with the expectations of modern driving. This refinement becomes more noticeable over time, especially in situations where subtlety matters, where smooth transitions, where quiet operation, where predictable responses create an environment that feels composed and reliable. The driver begins to rely on this composure, trusting that the vehicle will respond in a consistent manner, regardless of external conditions. This trust reduces mental load, allowing attention to remain focused on the road, allowing decisions to be made with greater clarity and confidence. As the connection deepens, the interaction between driver and machine becomes more intuitive, requiring less conscious effort, and creating a flow that feels natural rather than forced. This flow extends beyond the act of driving. Overall experience of ownership, where charging, planning, maintenance, and daily use all become part of a system that works together. Charging no longer feels like a separate task, but part of a routine that aligns with daily patterns, creating a rhythm that supports the overall functionality of the vehicle. The iX3 supports this by providing clear feedback, allowing the driver to understand energy usage, to plan efficiently, to adapt driving style when necessary. This level of transparency enhances control not by limiting options, but by providing information that allows better decisions over longer distances. The vehicle continues to maintain its sense of stability, providing a smooth and composed ride that reduces fatigue and enhances comfort. This comfort is not just physical, it is also mental, created by the absence of unnecessary noise, by the predictability of responses, by the clarity of controls. The cabin becomes a space where focus can be maintained, where conversations can happen without interruption, where the journey itself becomes part of the experience, rather than just a means to an end. This shift in perception changes how driving is experienced, making it less about effort and more about flow, less about control and more about connection. The iX3 continues to refine this connection through its design, through its performance, through the way it responds to the driver and the environment. Each element contributes to a sense of cohesion, ensuring that nothing feels out of place. Nothing feels excessive, nothing feels disconnected. This cohesion becomes more important as expectations continue to evolve, as drivers look for experiences that combine efficiency, comfort, and capability without compromise. The vehicle meets these expectations not through dramatic innovation, but through careful integration of technology and design, creating a system that works as a whole rather than as separate parts. This approach ensures that the iX3 remains relevant not just in the present, but as part of a future where mobility continues to evolve. The broader landscape continues to change with improvements in infrastructure, advancements in battery technology, increasing awareness of sustainable practices, all contributing to a shift in how vehicles are perceived and used. The iX3 exists within this shifting landscape, adapting to it, reflecting its direction, while also influencing how drivers experience electric mobility. This relationship between vehicle and environment continues to strengthen, creating a feedback loop where each influences the development of the other. Drivers become more comfortable with electric systems, infrastructure expands to support demand, technology advances to improve performance and efficiency. The iX3 remains part of this cycle, evolving alongside it, maintaining its balance between innovation and practicality. The narrative continues to expand through this ongoing interaction, showing that the story is not confined to a single vehicle or a single moment. It is part of a larger transformation that continues to unfold. Each journey adds to this transformation. Each experience contributes to a deeper understanding of what modern driving can be. The iX3 represents one interpretation of this future, one approach that prioritizes refinement, consistency, and integration. It does not seek to redefine everything at once. It builds gradually on existing concepts, shaping them into something that aligns with changing expectations. This gradual evolution becomes one of its strengths, allowing drivers to adapt naturally without feeling disconnected from what they already know. The experience remains familiar in its essence, while introducing new elements that enhance rather than replace. This balance ensures that the transition feels smooth rather than abrupt, allowing the driver to move forward without hesitation. The journey continues through this balance, expanding into new possibilities, new developments, new refinements that shape the ongoing narrative of mobility. The iX3 remains part of this narrative, contributing to it, evolving with it, maintaining its role as a bridge between past and future. And as the story continues to unfold, the experience of driving continues to transform, becoming more efficient, more connected, more aligned with the world around it. Yet the core remains unchanged: movement, control, connection. These elements continue to define the experience, providing continuity within change. And through that continuity, the journey continues, always forward, always adapting, always becoming something more. The evolution carries on into deeper layers where long-term ownership reveals insights that are not visible in short experiences, insights that come from repetition, from routine, from the integration of the vehicle into everyday patterns. The iX3 begins to show how durability and consistency contribute to satisfaction, how systems continue to perform reliably, how responses remain stable, how the experience does not degrade, but maintains its quality over time. This consistency reinforces trust, creating a relationship where the driver no longer questions the vehicle, but relies on it without hesitation. Maintenance becomes part of this relationship, not as a burden, but as a manageable aspect of ownership, simplified by the nature of electric systems, which require less frequent intervention compared to traditional mechanisms. This simplicity adds to the overall ease of use, reducing the complexity of ownership and allowing focus to remain on the experience itself. The vehicle continues to adapt to different scenarios, whether it is daily commuting, extended travel, or unexpected situations, each revealing how well the system handles variation. This adaptability becomes a defining feature, allowing the iX3 to function effectively across a wide range of conditions without losing its core identity. The interior continues to support long-term comfort with materials that hold up over time, with design choices that prioritize usability, with layouts that remain intuitive even after extended use. Technology continues to function as a support system rather than a distraction, providing assistance where needed without overwhelming the driver. This balance between assistance and control ensures that the driver remains engaged while benefiting from modern advancements. The broader ecosystem continues to evolve alongside the vehicle. Charging networks expand efficiency, improves new Technologies emerge creating an environment that supports electric mobility more effectively. The iX3 benefits from these developments, while also contributing to them through its presence, through its performance, through its role in shaping user expectations. Drivers who commit to this experience begin to see how it fits into a larger shift in transportation, how it represents a move toward systems that are more efficient, more sustainable, more aligned with modern needs. This understanding deepens the connection between driver and vehicle, transforming it from a tool into part of a lifestyle, part of a broader perspective on mobility. The journey continues to expand through this perspective, showing that the value of the iX3 is not limited to what it offers in isolation, but what it represents within a changing world. It becomes a symbol of transition, of progress, of the continuous movement toward something more refined, more balanced, more integrated. And as this movement continues, the story does not end. It extends further into new possibilities, new developments, new experiences that build upon everything that has come before. The iX3 remains within this ongoing narrative, adapting, evolving, maintaining its role as part of a journey that has no final point, because the evolution of mobility continues without stopping, without final conclusion, always moving, always adapting, always becoming something more. The experience continues to unfold in ways that become more subtle yet more meaningful as time passes. Because once the initial understanding is complete, what remains is the deeper connection that develops through repeated use. The iX3 begins to reveal how consistency becomes the foundation of long-term satisfaction, how the vehicle behaves not just in ideal conditions, but across every kind of situation. That daily life presents. This reliability creates a sense of assurance, allowing the driver to depend on the vehicle without hesitation, without second-guessing, without the need for constant adjustment. Each journey reinforces this assurance, building a pattern of trust that grows stronger over time. The vehicle becomes predictable in the best possible way, responding to input with the same level of precision, the same level of smoothness, the same level of control, regardless of external factors. This predictability does not create monotony. It creates confidence, allowing the driver to focus on the experience rather than the mechanics of operation. As confidence grows, the interaction becomes more fluid, more natural, more aligned with the driver's expectations. The iX3 adapts to different driving styles, recognizing patterns in how it is used, adjusting its responses to maintain efficiency while preserving performance. This adaptability enhances the overall experience, making the vehicle feel responsive, not just to commands, but to behavior. The relationship between driver and machine becomes more dynamic, not through complexity, but through understanding. The vehicle provides feedback in ways that are clear and useful, allowing the driver to make informed decisions without feeling overwhelmed. This communication is essential because it creates a connection that goes beyond basic control. It becomes a dialogue between input and response, between intention and outcome. The narrative continues to expand through this dialogue, showing how interaction evolves over time, becoming more refined, more intuitive, more effective. The interior environment remains a key part of this experience, providing a space that supports both functionality and comfort without unnecessary distraction. The arrangement of controls, the clarity of displays, the quality of materials all contribute to an environment that feels cohesive and purposeful. This cohesion enhances usability, ensuring that everything is where it needs to be, that interactions feel natural, that the driver can operate the vehicle without breaking focus. Long-distance travel continues to highlight the strengths of this design, where comfort and efficiency play a significant role in maintaining a positive experience. The quiet operation reduces fatigue, allowing the driver to remain focused for longer periods, while the smooth delivery of power ensures that acceleration remains controlled and predictable. The iX3 continues to demonstrate that performance does not require intensity to be effective. It can exist in a form that is refined, controlled, and sustainable over extended use. The broader environment continues to evolve with improvements in charging infrastructure, advancements in battery efficiency, and increased familiarity among users. These changes support the vehicle, making it easier to integrate into daily life, making long-distance travel more practical, making electric mobility more accessible. The iX3 benefits from this evolution, while also contributing to it by demonstrating how these systems can work together to create a seamless experience. Drivers who engage with the vehicle over extended periods begin to see how it fits into this larger system, how it interacts with infrastructure, how it adapts to different conditions, how it maintains its performance across various scenarios. This understanding deepens the connection between driver and vehicle, transforming it from a simple tool into an integral part of daily movement. The narrative continues to build through this integration, showing that the value of the iX3 is not just in what it offers individually, but in how it connects to the broader ecosystem of Mobility, this ecosystem, continues to grow, introducing new possibilities, new technologies, new approaches that shape the future of transportation. The iX3 remains within this evolving space, adapting as needed, maintaining its balance between innovation and practicality. The experience of driving continues to transform, becoming more efficient, more connected, more aligned with modern expectations, while still preserving the essential elements that define it. Movement, control, connection, these elements remain constant even as everything else changes. And through this continuity, the iX3 maintains its identity, serving as both a product of its time and a step toward what comes next. The journey continues without a final endpoint, without a fixed conclusion. Because the evolution of mobility is ongoing, each development leads to another, each improvement creates new possibilities, each experience contributes to deeper understanding of what driving can be. The iX3 continues within this process, evolving alongside it, maintaining its role as part of a larger movement that continues to expand. And as that expansion continues, the story moves forward without interruption, without hesitation, always adapting, always progressing, always becoming something more. The progression extends further into the idea of longevity, where the vehicle is not judged by a single moment or even a series of moments, but by how it performs over extended periods of time. The iX3 continues to demonstrate stability in its system's consistency, in its responses, durability, and its construction, all contributing to a sense of long-term reliability. This reliability becomes a defining feature, not because it stands out immediately, but because it persists quietly through repeated use. The driver begins to rely on this persistence, trusting that the vehicle will perform as expected day after day, without unexpected variation. This trust simplifies the driving experience, reducing uncertainty, allowing attention to remain focused on the journey itself. Maintenance continues to be minimal compared to traditional systems, reinforcing the idea that electric mobility can offer both convenience and efficiency without sacrificing performance. The vehicle remains adaptable to changing conditions, whether it is variations in temperature, road quality, or driving style, maintaining its composure across all scenarios. This composure reflects careful engineering where each component works in harmony with the others, creating a system that is both robust and flexible. The interior continues to support long-term use with materials that maintain their quality, with design that remains functional, with features that continue to operate effectively over time. Technology remains consistent, providing assistance without becoming intrusive, ensuring that the driver remains in control while benefiting from modern advancements. The broader mobility landscape continues to shift with ongoing improvements in infrastructure and technology, making electric vehicles more practical and more accessible. The iX3 remains part of this evolving environment, adapting to changes, maintaining its relevance, contributing to the overall progression of mobility. Drivers who experience this evolution firsthand begin to understand the significance of this transition, how it affects not just individual vehicles, but the entire concept of transportation. The iX3 becomes part of that understanding, representing a step forward in a journey that continues to develop. And as that journey continues, the story does not end. It expands further into new possibilities, new innovations, new experiences, always moving forward, always adapting, always becoming something more. The progression moves even deeper into the idea of continuity, where the experience is no longer defined by individual drives, but by the accumulation of all drives together, forming a consistent pattern that shapes perception over time. The iX3 becomes part of that pattern, not as something that stands apart, but as something that blends into daily life in a way that feels natural and expected. This integration is one of its most important qualities, because it shows that the vehicle is not designed only for moments of excitement, but for sustained use, for repeated interaction, for long-term presence. Each day adds another layer of familiarity, where actions require less thought, where responses feel more immediate, where the connection between driver and machine becomes instinctive. This instinctive interaction reduces effort, allowing the driver to focus more on the environment, on the journey, on the purpose of movement rather than the mechanics behind it. The vehicle continues to perform with the same level of consistency, maintaining smooth acceleration, stable handling, and efficient energy use across different conditions. This consistency builds a foundation of reliability that supports long-term confidence, making the iX3 feel dependable regardless of situation. Dependability becomes more valuable over time because it removes uncertainty, it allows planning, it creates a sense of control that extends beyond the act of driving. The interior environment continues to support this dependability through thoughtful design, where every element serves a purpose, where comfort is maintained, where usability remains high. Materials continue to hold their quality controls, continue to function without complication. Displays continue to provide clear information without distraction. This stability in Design contributes to the overall sense of continuity, ensuring that the experience does not degrade or become inconsistent over time. The broader environment continues to evolve with improvements in charging networks, better energy management systems, and increased adoption of electric mobility. These developments enhance the usability of the iX3, making it easier to integrate into different lifestyles, making long-distance travel more practical, making daily use more convenient. The relationship between vehicle and infrastructure becomes stronger, creating a system where both support each other in delivering a seamless experience. Drivers begin to adapt their habits to this system, planning charging around routines, understanding energy consumption, adjusting driving style to maximize efficiency. This adaptation becomes second nature over time, turning what once required effort into something automatic. The iX3 facilitates this process by providing clear feedback, intuitive controls, and consistent performance, allowing the driver to learn and adapt without difficulty. The narrative continues to expand through this interaction, showing how the vehicle becomes part of a larger system of movement, where individual journeys contribute to a broader understanding of mobility. This understanding influences how people think about transportation, how they plan their travel, how they interact with technology. The iX3 remains part of this evolving perspective, offering an experience that aligns with modern expectations, while maintaining a connection to the fundamental principles of driving. Movement control connection. These principles remain constant, even as everything else changes, providing a stable foundation within a dynamic environment. The vehicle continues to evolve within this environment, adapting to new developments, maintaining its relevance as expectations shift. Drivers who remain engaged with the iX3 over extended periods begin to see how it fits into their lives, not as a novelty, but as a reliable component of daily movement. This shift from novelty to normalcy marks an important stage in the evolution of electric mobility, showing that the technology has moved beyond experimentation into practical application. The iX3 represents this stage effectively, demonstrating how electric vehicles can offer both performance and usability without compromise. The story continues to unfold through this demonstration, showing that progress is not defined by sudden breakthroughs alone, but by gradual improvements that enhance everyday experience. Each improvement builds on the last, creating a trajectory of development that moves steadily forward. The iX3 follows this trajectory, maintaining its balance between innovation and practicality, ensuring that it remains relevant within a changing landscape. The journey does not reach a final destination. It continues to expand into new possibilities, new technologies, new approaches to mobility. And within this expansion, the iX3 continues to exist as part of the process, contributing to it, evolving with it, adapting as needed. The experience of driving continues to transform, becoming more efficient, more connected, more aligned with the needs of modern life, yet the core remains unchanged: movement control connection. These elements continue to define the experience regardless of how technology advances, and through this continuity, the journey continues without interruption, without conclusion, always moving forward, always adapting, always becoming something more. The evolution extends further into the concept of perception, where the way the driver views the vehicle changes over time. Shifting from curiosity to familiarity to trust, this shift is gradual but significant because it reflects a deeper understanding of what the iX3 offers, not just as a machine, but as an experience. The driver begins to notice how seamlessly the vehicle fits into different aspects of life, how it adapts to various situations, how it maintains its performance without requiring constant attention. This ease of use becomes one of its most valuable qualities, reducing friction in daily routines, simplifying the process of travel. The iX3 continues to demonstrate that advanced technology can exist without complexity, that innovation can be accessible, that performance can be delivered in a refined and controlled manner. This approach ensures that the vehicle remains approachable for a wide range of drivers, regardless of their familiarity with electric systems. The broader environment continues to support this accessibility with improvements in infrastructure, increased awareness, and ongoing advancements in technology. The iX3 benefits from these developments, while also contributing to them by serving as an example of how electric mobility can be integrated into everyday life. The narrative continues to grow through this interaction, showing that the story is not limited to a single vehicle, but extends into the larger transformation of transportation. Each journey, each experience, each adaptation contributes to this transformation, creating a collective movement toward a more efficient, more sustainable, more connected future. The iX3 remains part of this movement, evolving alongside it, maintaining its role within an ever-changing landscape. And as the landscape continues to shift, the journey continues without pause, without end, always evolving, always adapting, always becoming something more. The progression carries forward into an even deeper phase, where familiarity turns into quiet confidence, where the driver no longer thinks about the vehicle as something separate, but as something fully integrated into daily movement. This integration reshapes perception of travel itself, because the process becomes smoother, more predictable, more aligned with routine, rather than effort. The iX3 continues to operate within this space, with a level of refinement that becomes more apparent over extended use, where consistency is no longer surprising, but expected. Each journey reinforces this expectation, showing that performance does not fluctuate unexpectedly, that responses remain steady, that the system continues to deliver the same level of control, regardless of variation. In conditions, this steadiness creates a sense of calm, allowing the driver to approach driving with less tension, less uncertainty. More clarity. Clarity becomes an important element, because it allows attention to remain focused on what matters most: the road, the environment, the purpose of the journey. The absence of unnecessary distraction contributes to this clarity, making the experience feel controlled without being restrictive. The vehicle continues to demonstrate how design and technology can work together to create an environment that supports rather than overwhelms. Controls remain intuitive, displays remain readable, interactions remain straightforward, ensuring that the driver does not need to divert attention unnecessarily. This simplicity enhances safety, enhances comfort, enhances the overall experience by reducing cognitive load. The iX3 continues to adapt to different patterns of use, whether it is frequent short trips or extended journeys, where endurance becomes important. In both scenarios, the vehicle maintains its core qualities: smooth acceleration, balanced handling, efficient energy use. These qualities do not compete with each other. They complement each other, creating a cohesive experience that feels consistent across different situations. The broader context of electric mobility continues to evolve alongside this experience. Infrastructure expands, charging becomes more accessible, energy management systems improve. These developments reduce barriers, making the transition to electric driving more seamless, more practical, more integrated into everyday life. The iX3 benefits from this evolution, while also contributing to it by demonstrating how a well-balanced electric vehicle can function effectively within this changing environment. Drivers who continue to engage with the vehicle begin to notice how their own habits adapt, how they plan journeys differently, how they think about energy usage, how they approach travel with a different mindset. This shift in mindset reflects broader transformation of mobility, where efficiency and awareness become as important as performance. The iX3 supports this transformation by providing the tools, the feedback, and the consistency needed to adapt without difficulty. The narrative continues to expand through this adaptation, showing that the relationship between driver and vehicle is dynamic. It evolves, it responds to changes in both technology and behavior. This evolution creates a deeper connection, where the vehicle is no longer just a means of transport, but part of a system that supports movement in a more thoughtful way. The experience continues to develop over time, revealing that the true strength of the iX3 lies not in a single feature, but in the harmony of all its elements working together. This harmony creates a sense of completeness, not in the sense of finality, but in the sense of balance, where nothing feels excessive and nothing feels lacking. The journey continues within this balance, expanding into new possibilities as technology advances, as infrastructure improves, as user understanding grows. The iX3 remains part of this progression, adapting to changes, maintaining its role as a consistent, reliable component of modern mobility. The story does not conclude, because the process it represents is ongoing. It continues to develop with each new advancement, with each new experience, with each new perspective. Drivers remain part of this process, contributing to it through their use, through their adaptation, through their understanding. The iX3 continues to support this contribution, providing a platform that allows movement to be efficient, comfortable, and controlled. And as the process continues, the experience of driving continues to transform, becoming more aligned with the needs of a changing world, yet the core remains unchanged: movement, control, connection. These elements continue to define the experience, providing continuity within constant evolution. And through this continuity, the journey continues, always forward, always adapting, always evolving, always becoming something more. The narrative extends further into the dimension of long-term perspective, where the value of the vehicle is understood not through isolated impressions, but through sustained interaction over extended periods. The iX3 continues to demonstrate durability in its design, consistency in its systems, reliability in its performance, creating a foundation that supports long-term ownership. This foundation becomes more important as time passes, because it ensures that the experience remains stable, that the quality does not diminish, that the vehicle continues to meet expectations. Drivers begin to appreciate this stability, recognizing that it contributes to overall satisfaction more than Momentary excitement, the vehicle continues to function with the same level of precision, maintaining smooth operation, maintaining efficient energy use, maintaining balanced handling across different conditions. This reliability simplifies the driving experience, reducing the need for constant attention, reducing uncertainty, creating a sense of ease maintenance. Remains minimal, reinforcing the practicality of electric systems, reducing the complexity of ownership, allowing focus to remain on the experience rather than upkeep. The interior continues to hold its quality, providing a space that remains comfortable, functional, and consistent even after extended use. Technology continues to operate as intended, supporting the driver without becoming intrusive, ensuring that interactions remain clear and intuitive. The broader environment continues to evolve, supporting the vehicle with improved infrastructure, better charging solutions, enhanced energy management. The iX3 remains aligned with these developments, maintaining its relevance within a changing landscape. Drivers who experience this evolution firsthand begin to see how the vehicle fits into a larger transformation, how it contributes to a shift toward more efficient, more sustainable mobility. This understanding deepens the connection between driver and vehicle, transforming it into more than just a means of transportation. It becomes part of a broader perspective, part of a movement toward a different way of thinking about travel. The narrative continues to expand through this perspective, showing that the story is not limited to the vehicle itself, but extends into the way it influences behavior, expectations, and understanding. The iX3 continues to exist within this expanding narrative, adapting, evolving, maintaining its role within a process that has no final endpoint, because the evolution of mobility continues without stopping, without final conclusion, always moving, always adapting, always becoming something more.